Well, good evening. Thank you, Mayor Stone, Vice Mayor Van, and council members. It's been a great year, lots to tell everyone about. So I bring you tonight the State of the City 2017. And the State of the City address is provided annually to update citizens on a few things: current fiscal accountability and operational capital accomplishments of the city, as well as present the upcoming municipal budget, and as well near future plans for city improvements to maintain or enhance facilities and service delivery. This is being my first year, full year. Started as the city manager January 1st. I was here December 1st and got some overlap with the previous city manager, which did a lot of good things to be able to come into it more ready for the position. So thank you to City Council, city staff, and the Beavercreek community for welcoming me and my family to the area. I did want to, talk a little off the cuff here for a second on resident engagement. It goes well beyond these four walls and certain events. This isn't really known for council, what I'm getting ready to say to you, some of the experiences I've had within the last year. But everywhere I go, I try to engage students or residents. This includes weekends, nights, public places. I tend to wear my City of Beavercreek, you might call it pride wear, everywhere I go, on my jackets, my coat. And I've enjoyed interacting with residents, and the conversation usually goes like this. People look at me and say, City of Beavercreek? I'm like, oh, yes. Do you work there? Yes. What do you do? I'm the city manager. Oh, really? With a puzzled look. I think they are caught off guard for a moment, as they don't think it's possible for the city manager. He isn't supposed to be shopping at Kroger or shopping at Lowe's and many other stores like that. But after a moment, the pause, it quickly follows by, do you know what development is going on over there? Or I have this pothole in front of my house, or the drainage problem, or a tree, or I called and got help on this. It was great. But most recently, until Friday afternoon, it's been, when is Dayton Xenia going to be fixed? And after answering their questions or concerns, the engagement has always ended in a positive manner and a friend made. Even outside the city, I get good feedback, such as, I used to live there, or my relative lives there, and nice place to live. I'll let you know one more thing out of the bag here. I do a lot of the posting on the city's Facebook page, especially at night and weekends, and I try to answer questions promptly if possible, and people are really appreciative and actually surprised when they get an answer back so quickly, especially off hours. But all this is to say that my wife and I have enjoyed Beavercreek. This is why we have enjoyed Beavercreek, is the kindness of its people, and I have been honored and proud and humbled to serve this first year. So I just wanted to express that to council. 2017 has been a year of learning, and I appreciate staff getting to know them getting to know me, and it's been a fast year. 12 months has sped by. Looking forward to continuing the quality of services that the community is familiar with and keeping the momentum going. In 2017, the Finance Department received, not a surprise, a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This was the 26th consecutive year. Congratulations to them. They were also awarded the Ohio Auditor of State Audit Award with Distinction, the 6th consecutive years. Only 5% of the nearly 6,000 statewide entities are awarded this distinction. So again, congratulations to the Finance Department. One of the things in finance is to develop a long-term financial strategy for levy timelines, changing from term levies to continuous to preserve existing funding while maintaining the rollback subsidy from the state. So we developed new policies and procedures also, the Finance Department did, on the issuance of bonds. All bond transactions to be compliant with the SEC and IRS regulations. That was very important to have. Switching gears to Human Resource Department for 2017, We did have, of course, initiated a second annual job fair, but we also focused on our wellness program. Our wellness program ended up with 43% of employees and 16% of spouses active in the program. And of course, providing wellness evaluations, but meaningful improvements to their health. Meaningful improvements to their health with the long-term goal of minimizing health insurance costs. So it's a double benefit there. Also, we had implementation of athletic employee training program with the Dayton Sports Medicine Institute to decrease lost time for employees who sustain an injury, prevent small injuries from becoming large disabilities, and help reduce workers' compensation. That one was and is free of charge to us. We were offered that, had a meeting with it, and it's been great for employees. So also finance, we reduced workers' compensation premiums in 2017 by $48,000 or 24% of the premium. And we eliminated the outsourcing of the In Touch newsletter with in-house personnel. And this was by Diane Gold. She's the executive administrative assistant, and she has done an outstanding job with doing the In Touch. She's learning more every time she does it. She's taking the online training, and she's getting very efficient with it. She's also the one that prepared this presentation, so thank you, Diane. As well as the In Touch, we also completed a comprehensive review of the mailings. We found out not everybody was getting the mailing, and actually some probably were getting it that shouldn't have been. So we did an analysis on that, and we actually saved money while increasing the number of residents receiving the In Touch. Exactly the outcome we wanted. Switching gears to the police department, police successfully completed the annual CALIA audit of proofs and compliance. Not a surprise, very job well done. They reorganized the police department to improve efficiencies across all 3 divisions. They also celebrated their 30th anniversary of Citizens on Preventive Patrol, COPP program. And that was a very neat event to attend and listen to the actual people who were there the very first year of the program. We also graduated 16 participants of the 15th Citizens Police Academy. And I think we're going to have a few people from that join the COPP program. So they learned a lot, they said, and we appreciated their participation. Continuing with police, we also, part of that is the outreach of the police department, 59 community-related events to promote safety and further enhance community engagement. We also, when you talk technology, this year we implemented a text to 911 and a tip 411 program. The tip 411 is a mobile app that's free that you can download. You can keep up with things, events that are happening, alerts that are happening, and as well submit a tip for the police to follow up on. We implemented the drone program, and all sworn personnel will completed 20 hours of the required training. And this year, new for the police department came October 1st when we implemented body cams and upgraded the in-car video systems. Moving on to Parks Department for 2017, we continue upgrading the equipment in our city parks, new playground at Spicer Heights, structures at Royal Point Park, concrete paths at Wordinger Park. We had different events that we increased participation in. Party in Your Park went from 78 in 2016 to 273. I attended that event, and it was packed, and it was really great, and thanks to the partners in that program. We added a variety of partners and volunteers to actually the July 4th program, which I also attended, and a little rain didn't stop us, although it was a hard pour down for a little bit, but the show went on, and it was great. So again, thanks to our partners for the July 4th. Also in a review of the parks, we completed the renovation of the Lofino Center Plaza. This has been great. It's expanded our existing senior center, multi-purpose rooms for various functions and groups that can utilize it, and a new fitness room for our seniors and new equipment. We actually received a $4,000 grant from Council on Aging, Greene County, so to purchase a treadmill. So it's very good. As we go on, public services, shifting gears, we saw this during our budget hearing, and I wanted to re-present it to council again. This was the pie chart that kind of shows the years, the age, and the number of miles for the roads, for the pavement. This is a good graph that kind of gives you an indication of how old our streets are and what percentage of them are between certain ages. So very, very useful. We'll eventually get these charts up on our webpage so they can be viewed. Going on public service, though, we generated 8 grant applications from state and federal agencies with funding requests totaling over $7.5 million. And of course, we completed, there's so many projects, I'm not going to go through one at a time, but completed right-of-way acquisitions, completed survey work, completed the following projects: Lefino Center renovation, Colonel Glenn Highway resurfacing project, Shakertown Road widening project, Dayton Xenia Road Streetscape 2 improvements, and Grange Hall Road at State Route 835. And we can safely say about half of Dayton Xenia Road is completed at this time. Various construction contracts were awarded in 2017 for projects around the city, and that would total about $10.5 million in the city's infrastructure. Over 7,300 linear miles, feet, miles, that would be huge, feet of old curbing was replaced, as well as repairs to the concrete traffic islands through the city curb replacement program. And it does make a difference. Those concrete middle barriers, if they're falling apart and getting chipped and falling up, the look is horrible. Plus, if concrete falls into the street and then are kicked up by a car or truck, it's just compounding. So it's important to keep those up to date as well. Completed the in-house design for 2017 storm sewer improvements project, and the in-house, we did our own concrete at the Wordinger Park sidewalks, the engineering for that. And thanks to council, we have initiated the update of the impact fee ordinance that council approved. This pie chart just simply shows what we've been talking about. Over 16 centerline miles of streets were paved in 17. It's the most in city history under this program. So over 16 centerline miles. So that is fantastic. The golf club, not to be forgotten, hosted OHSAA Boys Division II and Girls Division I District Golf Championships. Very unique opportunity to showcase, of course, our facilities and including our food and beverage. We also installed, which was very important, the installation of 2 new pumps. The old pumps station was from 1995 and pumped 467 million gallons of water. It was literally at sea prompt. It was that old, and there was no parts. When it died, it was going to die, and part of it had already died. So this was a much needed improvement and will allow us from remote control to direct control, more accurate controls of the amount of water the greens are getting. And as well as we updated the inside of the pump house as well, which needed it. They also at the golf club had a student class from Trebine Elementary for a STEM learning field. We hosted 125 fifth graders in October. The students had hands-on learning opportunity covering topics of soil science, area and volume measurement, environmental stewardship, technology, tools used on a golf course etiquette, and chipping and putting lessons as well. So they had a blast. And last thing on the golf course in review, the course went through its first Audubon International recertification process in 2017 and maintains a status as a certified Audubon cooperative sanctuary. And how significant is that? It is one of 16 courses to attain this status out of over 700 golf courses in Ohio. So that's a job well done. Moving on to planning and development. First of all, the name change. That was important to reflect what our department actually does, or what we want it to begin to focus on more. And so planning and development has been changed, as well as our director, Jeff McGrath, his title has been changed to planning and development director. Looking at this, the number of inspections, definitely with property maintenance inspections, you can see is way ahead. That is because we had a seasonal intern help planning to have and planning to have that position again, the internship, next summer as well. So having that summer help really helped with the number of property maintenance inspections. Residential units added, when you were looking at 5 years, it still has slowed slightly, but it's still within line of the projections of the previous 5 years. But it has slowed. More residents with developments upcoming could help spur that number back up. But as we become more built out, that number could eventually, start slowing down some. But it's still within the numbers that we've had in the last 5 years. New businesses, pretty stable. As you look at year to date, we're right where we were at the same time, or completed 2015 and ahead of a little bit of 2016, but we're stable in the new business permits. And when we talk about commercial construction valuations, these look like big numbers have changed, but we were down in 2016, but with many projects oncoming that are coming down the pike, I don't expect to see that number stay down. Greene County shot up, but if you get to look and be what's behind that number, that it almost went off the chart there, that most of that reflects the buildup of basically the Costco area, and the developments happen around Costco. Planning more of the revenue growth, planning department, you got permits, development revenue, and you also have impact fees collected for the development. And both of these revenue sources are within pretty much nothing that stands out or within the 5-year norms. All right, moving to the executive summary for 2018 for the appropriations budget. First, I'd like to thank the Finance Department, Director Bill Casera and Fiscal Officer Teresa Hathaway, and all the staff for all that they did to put all the budget numbers together, and staff as well is working on that. One new thing I did want to point out in the budget book, and I meant to bring one up here with me, but in front of each section, each major category department, like the police, like the streets, there are new areas of discussion. What's this fund about? What levies, goals and objectives, just a lot of information that's been inserted to the budget book this year. So for yours and everybody else's pleasure to read. A lot of information, and it really fills people in what's going on with and what's the purpose of these funds. So when we go on to the budget introduction, the 2018 municipal budget and corresponding appropriation ordinance is being presented for the consideration consistent with section 10.10 of the City of Beavercreek Charter. The 2018 budget, we could talk about, and I've just touched briefly, but we all know kind of that state of Ohio balanced itself throughout the years by reducing local jurisdictions funding. This equated to a loss of the City of Beavercreek $1.2 million annually, and represented about a 60% decline from the base year of 2010, and still continuing to have that effect on the general fund, police, and street funds. But the city we didn't lick our wounds and say, woe is us. City embarked on a strategy to develop specific levies designed to address the city's financial needs now and into the future. With the approval and support of the residents, the city has been able to offset the state reductions and stabilize critical operational and capital improvement programs. For this budget, department directors were instructed by the city manager to continue to maintain the high level of services that they are so accustomed to while increasing fund balances. Now, that's a twist, while increasing fund balances. This involves developing creative solutions, of course, shared resources, efficiencies, improvements, department reorganizations, and aggressively, always pursuing grant opportunities. City Council's policy objective of increasing the minimum reserve balance from 15 to 20% for operating funds, I can announce, has been achieved for 2018. This is a list of all the funds. There's only one, if you notice, on the right-hand side, and that is the street improvement levy, which is a capital, used for capital only, so that's why it's only 3.81%. But all the other funds have met or exceeded the 20% minimum reserve. And just looking at a pie chart here, revenue category is $37.6 million in total. We'll break this down a little bit by going to the next page, but you can see the biggest pieces of the pie. The biggest piece of pie is going to be property tax. The reliance upon property tax to generate the revenue necessary to maintain operations and fund the city's capital improvement program. So property tax accounted for about 53.9% of all the revenue. Intergovernmental revenue, though, it's the second largest, and it comprised of 23.4%, and that includes things like local government funds, the homestead rollback, grants, hotel motel tax, franchise fees, and other various shared services. And then the makeup of the remaining revenue includes those that are listed there. One more item on revenue I want to talk about, those the contracted shared services that are designed to cover the costs of services provided to various entities. Well, what am I talking about? Well, 2018 we have budgeted $694,000 in shared services. This includes Beavercreek Township, Beavercreek Schools, and other agreements with other entities. And it's for things like dispatch services, fire, Rotary park maintenance, in-touch publications, providing fuel for fire and street operations, providing school resource officers, security details, salt and fiber optics, and many other things that you see listed. So we are able to recoup those costs as revenue for those shared services we provide. The expenditures are $40.6 million, and of course you can see the two big ones right off the bat: street maintenance and capital, and public safety. Of course, those are the two biggest pieces of the pie. We'll talk about those. Total budget expenditures for 2018, excluding the interfund transfers, the $40.6 million as stated, and it's approximately $1.2 million less than the 2007 adopted budget. Street funds are roughly $19.1 million, or 46.9% of the total budget. And but this includes, if you think about this, this includes $12 million for infrastructure improvements. Public safety represents the second largest portion of the budget, and it's $10.6 million, or 26.2% of the budget. And the Parks Department represents $2.5 million, or 6.2% of the 18 budget. And the rest of it, I did want to point out, it comprises of $8.4 million, but comprises of golf course debt service, general fund expenditures. If you go back one slide. If you go back to this, when you really see the general fund part, it's really small compared to the rest big part of the pie. So representing only 6.7% of all of it. The next pie to show you is by category, and this probably shouldn't be a surprise to you because we're service driven. We're service, we provide services. So personnel, the largest cost by category, followed by capital and contractual, and you see the rest there. Wages and benefits are $15.5 million, 38.1% of the total budget. Per the FOP contract, what's in your budget for approval tonight is 3% wage increase. That's per contract of the FOP. Also, CWA and non-union employees are budgeted to receive 2.5%. The second largest component of the budget by category is the capital expenditures, which is $12 million, or 29.5% of the budget. Majority of these expenditures relate to the street funds, which includes dedicated capital improvements as part of the 5-year capital improvement plan, along with street resurfacing and curb replacement. The 2018 budget reflects $4.12 million in grant-funded projects. That's absolutely great. And talking about the last category in expenditures is the contractual, is the third largest category, representing $7.4 million, or 18.2% of the budget. And these are some of the larger items budgeted within contractual, include interfund charges for indirect costs, resurfacing streets, curb program, the project with the GIS mapping, electricity, miscellaneous, and you can see some of the other items that are listed there. All right, future ahead. Where do we go? just wanted to present moving forward. Although the economy is showing continued signs of recovery, these results are more evident to municipalities with an income tax. Beavercreek is driven by property tax and will continue to experience effects of stabilizing property values. I mean, that's a good thing. Property tax revenue, though, will not keep pace with the continued increasing operating cost. Now, some people, I'll just clarify on this because I'm sure this is a misunderstanding by a lot of people. I have received in the mail at my home the auditor, the evaluation, 14% increase. That does not increase my property tax bill by 14%. Remember the general fund portion I showed you, which was only 6.7%? That is the inside millage that is directly impacted by an increase of the value of your home, increase or decrease. The general fund is impacted almost immediately with those kinds of changes. The other levies that we have, street levies, police levy, park levy, all those are a fixed dollar amount to be received. So whether or not your property value goes up or down, those are locked into the dollar amount that the city will receive. So this year, just to show you, our property tax increase projected by the auditor is about 1% increase. The city continues to renew, replace, or add additional levies to permit the city to continue to maintain critical infrastructure and service levels. And the city also continues to expand shared services and review consolidation strategies to create efficiencies and, of course, by all means, reduce costs. We want to also, moving forward in 2018, we want to select and purchase and implement a timekeeping software citywide to automatically download timekeeping data directly into the payroll system. We have paper timesheets still, paper leaves forms still. We have manual uploading of information into the payroll system still. So it is our goal this year definitely to select, purchase, and implement a timekeeping software citywide. We want to continue to develop long-term financial strategies and alternatives to address the funding and timing of the city's levies, and complete a compensation wage analysis as well on all city positions to determine the appropriate pay structure. That's going to be completed in 2018. We also, talking about technology, will review and implement a records capture program for all social media accounts throughout the city. This is required for public information. Anything on social media is a public record. We need to update the city's website through an upgrade or a review of alternatives. That will be deeply needed as well. Develop strategies and procedures for enhancing city communications to residents and review assessments of all production equipment and technology options, as well as review alternatives to the existing meeting production process for effectiveness and cost efficiency. Of course, with the police department, we definitely want the CALEA to continue for 2018. We also will enhance forensic service function by training an additional polygraphists, coordinate the implementation and training of the police motorcycle traffic unit. That's going to be new for us in 2018. We'll also go to recruit and train new recruits to the COPP program and expand the community engagement function by assigning a community engagement officer in the police department. That is part of the reorganization that we did that allows for this to happen. Continue to provide and coordinate a minimum of 20 hours of training for the police. In Public Service Department, we'll go begin locating our city-owned infrastructure as requested by Ohio Utilities Protection Services, as well as the Traffic and Streets Division will begin a comprehensive GIS data collection project. Now, this is the asset inventory that will be utilized to make more informed operational budgetary decisions in the future. This is a van that uses the laser to go and and we're going to have to go out for bid for this for more specifics as far as what we can afford to do, but it can tell you the pavement, your grade, good, your condition, keeps track of how many miles, everything, curb, gutter, street signs. It does it all, but we'll have to see how much of that we can afford to initially roll this out. But it's an asset inventory, and it works with our current GIS system. All right, we're going to continue to identify and implement long-term infrastructure funding mechanisms to meet the future needs. And this is, we're going to revise annual capital improvement program and 5-year capital improvement plan, prepare applications for new federal aid. Of course, every grant that we can apply for, we're going to apply for and be ready. I tell you one thing that I have heard repeatedly over this year is that when a grant has money to give out and they're having a hard time getting it, they come to us. Why? Because we're ready. We're ready. We already have done our homework up front. So I'm very impressed with that. So we'll continue to be ready. Coming up on the last couple slides here, focus on economic development. Okay, so by implementing programs such as Community Reinvestment Act, or area, which is CRA, our Energy Special Improvement District, which we call it ESID, Property Assessed Clean Energy Financing District, which we call PACE, and create a Community Investment Corporation, or what we call CIC. All these things, we will also continue to work with Greene County Department of Development to maximize all our financial opportunities, as well as working closely with Dayton Development Coalition to maximize job growth opportunities and enhance the ability to retain current businesses and attract new companies to our local economy. As well as all that going on in economic development, we're also going to update our 2012 thoroughfare plan, zoning map, land use map. So lots going to be going on, including in the thoroughfare plan is a section on the bikeways, bike path. Also, switching gears to the park, we're going to create a 10-year park master plan is going to be as well updated for the Parks Department. Continue capital repairs at the parks, moving on with parks, replacement and playground equipment, Gershbacher Park, Rotary Park, parking lot expansion at Shout Park, walking path at Fox Run Park, and replacing swings and recreational amenities at Merrick Park. So all these things going on. I think the people really enjoyed the improvements we've done so far. People are coming from all over the place, and that's kind of making the local residents a little jealous that people are so interested in a job so well done. They love the equipment. Speaking of golf, we're going to begin phase 1, our practice ring conversion at the golf course. Of course, promote an increase in weddings at the club, promote the increase of additional golf outings as well. A lot of things going on at the golf course. Just wanted to end with this. If you want something you have never had, you must be willing to do something you have never done. And that's Thomas Jefferson. And I think that is something that we always have to keep in mind. We can't keep giving the same response, so to speak, and expect a different result. Something we're moving forward with on a lot of initiatives that are first-timers, and very proud of that. And without the community support, the city would not be able to move forward. The momentum will continue in 2018. And again, I'd like to thank all of the staff and all the council for their hard work in 2017 and upcoming in 18.